Hey, how are you doing today? Today I am going to be talking about how to rejuvenate an old frog where the legs have gotten sticky and it doesn't quite look right anymore. This particular frog also has some rusty hooks, so we're going to be replacing those. And then we're going to be talking about some other modifications that you can do to your frog to possibly help make it more effective for you in catching fish. All right, so let's get started. All right, first thing we're going to do is we're going to take this old hook out of here. So all we do is we just kind of pull the sleeve off of it, pull that out, and there you go. You got your frog, and you've got your hook. We're going to discard this hook. I don't know if you can see the rust on there, but there's some rust. All right, and then the next thing we're going to do is there's a little black weight on the bottom of this frog. It's just a little piece of lead. You just kind of stretch your plastic out there and work that out. Just kind of work it. Ooh, there it goes. We just kind of work it around until that comes out. And there we go. There's your plastic belly weight for the frog. That's what helps keel it out and helps keep it upright when it's in the water. All right, next thing we're going to do is these old legs. They're all mangled and after time, they get a little bit melted and stick together and everything else. So we just kind of go inside here, and I usually use a pair of pliers for that. So that's why I've got some sitting here. We're just going to reach in here with our pliers and start pulling them out. Get the knot out, and then bam. So there it is. All it is just a couple of rubber strands that are tied together. All right, so now that we've got our frog, this is a good frog. Like sometimes they get ripped up and they're not any good anymore, and you just want to you have to get a new one. This one, I think this one can be saved. So the first thing we're going to do is put some new skirt tabs in here. So what we do with these, we're just going to take, these are just tabs like you can buy at any fishing store, Bass Pro Shop, wherever. I'm just going to tie a quick knot in them. We'll do this on both sides. And then I just fashioned a little piece of wire here with a hole in it. I don't know if you can see that, but I'm just gonna stick that strand through there just like this. Oop, dropped it. Go to the side that I actually want the legs in. I'll stick it through. Actually, I'm gonna stick it through there. I'll stick my plastic, and I'm just gonna pull it through. Just kind of pull it all out there good. You can see that's gonna make a nice long strand when we trim that up. And then when you get that in there, just go ahead and kind of trim off your tab here. Let's see what we got. We'll get a little, just trim it right above your knot. And pull it on in. And then we'll do the other side. Same thing. Go through your frog body. Then we forget we got to tie a knot on this one. Good and tight. And you can go ahead and trim this off before you even stick it in there if you like. Just trim it off. I'll take our, oops, wrong way. Take our wire, go through the hole. Actually, we're not going to do that. We're going to go just through the front end there, and then we're going to pull it on through. Pull that on in until it's good and locked in position. And now those little knots are going to keep that from pulling out. So, and you can use any color you want. I just use black because this is a black frog. And then once you get done with that, you can trim your ends off however long you want. And there we go. We have another. We've got a proper looking frog tail on that now. You can trim that up whatever length you like. All right, next thing we're going to do is we're going to add our hook back. This is a new hook. It doesn't have any rust on it or anything. It's not all beat up. So I took this off another one that got torn up. So we just do the same thing, just like we took it off. We're going to slide it through. This is a little bit tricky for me. Slide it through and get your, well, this is always tricky for me. Let's try this. I'll take this. So what I've done here, let me get these out of the way. What I've done here is I've just made a little loop on the end of this piece of wire, and I'm going to stick it through. I'll go on through there. And we'll put our, you can probably do this with some line too. So we'll put that through, and then just feed it back in. That piece put in. Feed our little figure 8 wire through. All right. And there we go. Now we've got our frog back ready for action. We've got to put our weight back in. But before we do that, I want to talk about a couple of mods that you can do. You can add some. I'm going to do that here. I'm going to add a few beads to this, just to make it rattle and maybe make a little bit more noise. And the other thing you can do, and I'm going to do that right now, is add a split ring to the front. Now, when you're fishing really heavy cover, you probably don't want a split ring, but if you're fishing around wood, light grass, stuff that's not really going to get hung up on your nose, I mean, I find this helps walk the bait a little bit more. So I've got some split ring pliers. Let's go ahead and put it on there. Oop. Just gonna squeeze those on there. So almost. There we go. And that, to me, that helps the bait walk a little bit better in situations where you want to walk. If you're fishing heavy cover, you know, you're probably not going to want to do that. You can tie straight to the bait and it'll work just fine. Now we'll add our beads. Just going to put those in the little cavity in the back there. I'm just going to put a bunch of them just for effect. You can add as many or as little as you like. All right, we'll get those in there. We'll just turn this out of the way for the moment. We'll put our weight back in. And I find it helps to kind of wet this a little bit. Use some water. Stick it in there. And it just kind of goes in that seam in the bait. There you go. And when it gets back in position, you just put your hooks back where they need to go. I don't know if you can hear that, but there's a little bit of rattle noise there. Maybe it'll help, maybe it won't. One other thing that I do to these baits is I always turn the hooks. People say turn them up. I don't turn them up. I turn them out. I take my pliers just like this, and I'm going to turn it this way. And see how, I don't know if you can see how that pulls the hook kind of away from the frog. I think that gives you a little bit better hookup, particularly when you're fishing a little bit more open cover. It also works pretty good in the slop too. You're not going to get a whole lot of nastiness. You're not really going to get hung up any more than you do otherwise. If you get hung up at all with these are really weedless baits. But anyway, that's the that's all the modifications that I make to a frog. And next time you're out, give those a shot, and maybe they'll help you catch a few more bass. Thanks for watching. Bye.